What is going on, everybody?
Hello!
It is Pixel Partners here, and welcome back to Phoenix Wright Spirit of Justice. When we left off, we're back in court. It's like the good old days. It's Phoenix and Maya together standing against the coldest ice Edgeworth on the other side.
He's cold on the outside. He's hiding his feelings.
Already going with that in the new part. All right. Took 20 seconds for you to make a Wrightworth joke.
Listen,
but
that's what this channel's built on.
I know.
That's where it all started, is Wrightworth jokes.
Oh, man.
Oh, the funny thing is I'm not wrong.
No, you're not. But now it's time to prove that the lantern and body were moved from somewhere else.
Yes, the flower petals.
Yes, we're going to go with that. We're going to hope that finally, third time's a charm, that the flower petals are actually a thing.
Yes!
And it seems like that is the case.
The photo of the victim again? You, what?
Yes. I'd like the court to focus on this thing right here. Which one do I touch?
Which one?
Which one?
Maybe that one?
The one on the knee? Or the one by his hand?
Or the one that just is like definitely a petal and not, you know, on his body.
I'm gonna throw that. Please?
Please?
Any of them work, maybe?
Flower petals, Mr. Wright. Thank God. Okay. We're good. They're very pretty.
These petals are from a kind of flower that were not present in the reception hall. This means they must have gotten into the lantern when it was somewhere else.
But where? The mansion.
And just where do you propose this somewhere else to be, Mr. Wright? How about like 9 million BC? I propose that this piece of evidence will tell us where the flower petals came from. Oh, we have some. It must be in the pictures somewhere.
Are there flowers in there?
That would be a.
Wait, what's in her? Okay, no, never mind.
No, it's a hat. I want to go to the storage picture because I know we have one from the reception hall. But what about?
Oh, right there.
There it is.
Right there.
In the hold. Please take a look at the flowers in this picture in the hold. Notice how their petals are of the same shape as the petals in the crime scene photo?
Yes, I see. They do look to be from the same kind of flower.
What?
Is that really all you've got? A flower is a flower is a flower. They're all the same. No, not really at all. I would hardly call what you presented compelling evidence.
I'm afraid I couldn't disagree with you more, Mr. Edgeworth.
Huh?
I gave a flower of this type to my lovely wife once when we were young. So I can assure you that this is very meaningful and compelling evidence indeed.
The judge is doing something for us for once? What?
Wow!
The soundness of my judgment in this matter is backed by nothing less than pure love.
Love is the champion today. But, Your Honor. Let it go, Mr. Edgeworth. It's clear you don't know much about flowers. It's not like you have anyone you'd actually give any to after all. But maybe you should study on them just in case the opportunity presents itself. No.
Yeah, just in case, you know. Nick likes roses.
This from the man who only knows the names of 3 types of flowers. That's hardly relevant in the case at hand. All that matters is that I know this flower. Now. The defense asserts that it's highly probable that the victim was killed in the hold.
The fact that he knows that Phoenix only knows the name of 3 types of flowers makes me think that Phoenix says like, hey, I like these flowers. These are great. And then just nothing happened. And he's trying to drop a hint again in court.
If the body was then placed in the lantern and moved to the reception hall for some reason. It would completely destroy the prosecution's case.
And you mean the body was...
Uh-huh. Yes, the victim's body was...
It was. That's all.
Inside the lantern during the entire beautiful wedding reception, while the defendant and her betrothed were celebrating their love.
What? That's horrible. Oh my God.
Oh boy, here he goes.
The tisk tisk.
What you got? Huh. Your smooth talk might work on his honor, but it won't work on me. What are you talking about now? Taking a look at all of the evidence and you'll soon see what I mean. I wish you would just tell me already. Detective Sky, I'm sure you've already figured out what I'm talking about, correct?
Of course, sir.
Is the ace up your sleeve, whatever you always got behind you?
Mr. Wright is the only one here who hasn't. Why don't you leave this to me, Mr. Edgeworth?
Very well. Let's see what you can do.
Crap, I don't know what's happening. Detective Sky, please give your testimony to this court. Whatever it is.
What the hell you doing?
Witness testimony.
Emma? What did you hide from us?
The prosecution's rebuttal. The victim could not have been killed before the reception. The autopsy report states that the estimated time of death was after the reception. And that estimated time of death is correct. There's no way it could be wrong. Okay.
It's a very small testimony. Okay.
It's clear Mr. Gloomsbury was killed after the reception. And that completely contradicts your claim.
Huh. I guess so.
But
Tell me you look at least Tell me you took at least a cursory glance at the autopsy report, Mr. Wright. It appears you've grown rusty since our last outing. Might I suggest you go back and brush up on the basics?
this is so much flirting. This is
Sure. I must say, you're as cocky as ever, Mr. Edgeworth. I beg your pardon?
Well, what are you trying to say, Mr. Wright?
I'm just saying that I'll go back to basics if that's what Mr. Edgeworth wants. I'll prove how badly he's underestimating me with a good old-fashioned cross-examination.
There's so much
Stubborn as
tension
ever.
in the courtroom right now.
I agree. Very well. Let's see you put your money where your mouth is, Mr. Wright.
I would if I had any money to begin with, but my children keep taking it all away from me. Whether they are mine or not.
What? No.
Alright. Victim gotta have been killed before the reception. Hold it! Why are you so confident on that? You sound pretty certain. You must have some solid grounds for making that claim, right?
Of course I do. And you're going to feel silly when I show you what they are. Ready? Feast your eyes on this.
It's just the autopsy report.
Yeah, the officer.
The time of death was after the reception, so we can prove that
After the
wrong.
reception.
With time travel.
Time travel.
I've read the autopsy report too, you know.
Then you don't need me to explain it to you, right? There's no way the victim could have been killed before the reception, I mean.
Detective Sky, I think you've overlooked something big.
I have?
Why don't you take another look at the evidence?
But I've already looked at all the evidence, and quite carefully too, I'll have you know.
Detective Sky, gonna be taken in by his verbal antics. He's simply bluffing, as always.
Right, sir.
He's like, I'm not bluffing for once this time, though. I'm proud of this, and you're taking it away from me. Nobody could be wrong. Is it possible that the culprit did something to obscure the real time of death?
No, not in this case. There was no snow or anything to keep the body from decomposing. And there's no fridge on that airship big enough to fit a body into.
So you've already checked into that, I see.
I had that thought too. It all comes down to the estimated time of death, doesn't it? Couldn't the killer mess with the victim's time of death by keeping the body on ice?
Dry ice? Yeah, if they had the means to. Prosecution is treating the estimated time of death as an absolute. But is it really?
I take it you don't know. Whoa, that was different. I take it you don't know, Nick.
I really don't,
I take
but...
it you don't think it is, huh, Nick? In that case, we're going to have to find a way to convince them otherwise.
Yeah, there's gotta be a way somehow. Okay, now, I want to just first... I'm not gonna present anything. I'm just gonna look at the evidence to see, that's not gonna really have anything to do with it. That's just time travel. The pamphlet, I'm just wondering if it'll say anything about, no time's there.
No time like the present.
Because I'm thinking that towards the end we can possibly use, that because it would use dry ice, which could be used to chill a body, potentially. In fact, I think that's one of the only things that we have really going for us, because there's nothing else about the. We know that was definitely being used because.
Yeah.
So I think we'll go at the end here. There's no way it could be wrong. I'm gonna bluff it till I make it.
I really. Oh.
I'm so fucking good.
Yay!
I'm so good. I admit that the estimated time of death does contradict my theory.
Finally, and that means your theory that the victim was killed before the reception
Is still entirely plausible.
Huh? What makes you think that?
The killer could have falsified the time of death by using a certain item in the reception hall. Please take a look at this.
And what is that contraption, Mr. Wright?
It's a fog machine, Your Honor, used to create a special romantic atmosphere in the hall.
And this machine could have been used to falsify the time of death?
Yes, Your Honor, because this machine uses dry ice to perform its magic.
Seems more spooky than romantic.
Dry ice? Ah, yes, the super cold stuff commonly used to make theatrical fog, right?
That's exactly it.
I see, so your claim is that this dry ice was used to keep the body cold?
Fuck. Oh. In that case, I guess the victim could have been killed before the reception.
Oh my god, I can't believe it.
God damn it.
We're gonna make her look so bad in front of Edgeworth. I feel so bad, but...
Order! Order in this court! I don't know about the others, but this one needs it. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this development?
The victim was killed in the hold before the wedding reception. The prosecution acknowledges the possibility of this claim.
Fuck yeah!
Now we're getting somewhere. The prosecution would also like to thank you, Mr. Wright.
God damn it!
Huh? For what?
Nick! He did the thing!
I didn't know how a certain piece of evidence fit into this case. But now, thanks to you, I do. What piece of evidence?
He did that tricky thing he does!
To get into the hold, one needs a key card like this one.
Oh boy.
And here we have a record of those
Oh,
who
a
entered
key
the hold
card
with
record.
such
Haven't
key
seen one of
cards.
those in a long time.
Yeah. The times aren't specified, but these are the last 3 entries on the day of the murder. And as you can see, the last person to enter the hold that day was the defendant. What?
So the one who moved the body out of the hold must have been...
That's right. It was none other than the defendant. Well, actually,
Yeah.
might have a little bit of a problem on that one, Larry.
Yeah.
You're fucking with our life, Larry.
Hey Nick, take a look at this entry record. There are a couple other names on here besides Ellen's.
Hey, you're right. According to the entry record, Mr. Edgeworth, Pierce Nicody had also gone into the hold.
butler.
Isn't it possible that he could have been the culprit?
The butler did it.
Sorry, but Mr. Nicody was escorting a few of the guests at the time. I'm sure they would be happy to testify to that fact if you'd like. Think me cocky all you'd like, Mr. Wright, but my confidence is rarely misplaced. Now then, it's probably safe to assume that after killing the victim in the hold, the defendant moved his body to the hall in order to dispose of it discreetly. What do you mean by discreetly? The defendant volunteered to take care of the reception's cleanup personally. I mean, she would have had the chance to dispose of anything in any way she wanted, including taking the lantern off the airship without raising any suspicion. Don't tell me you didn't know about Miss Wyatt volunteering for cleanup duty, Mrs. Wright.
Mr. Wright.
Mrs. Wright.
Mr.
Mrs.
Wright.
Wright.
For my last as a servant of the Sprocket household, I offered to take on the preparation and cleanup of the reception banquet.
I see. It's your own fucking wedding.
Yeah.
Way to go. Go.
That's such a cool animation.
Look at you, sweating buckets like a rookie, even after all these years. Nevertheless, thank you for proving that the only person who could have killed the victim in the hold is Ellen Wyatt. Oh, great job, Phoenix. Now we're back to square one.
Tisk, tisk, tisk.
Perhaps you should ask Miss Sykes for some help in reviewing Defense for Dummies.
Oof. Way to go, sir. You got Mr. Wright in a cold sweat.
Wonder if maybe the promise of seeing that miserable look on his face is what brought me back to court today. It certainly made all of my stress and woes as chief prosecutor just melt away.
I guess he had a lot of stress built up.
I'll give him something to stress over before we're through today. Your Honor, the prosecution asks that you render your verdict at this time, before that man over there tries to throw the court into chaos with his meaningless bluffs.
I see, Mr. Wright.
Chaos it is then!
Are there any last meaningful bluffs you'd like to present to this court?
Absolutely. Why does he have to assume it'll be a bluff?
Nick, hurry up and throw a good one out there.
I will.
Talk about time travel again.
Shit. Well, alright then. Let's see. I've got it. How do you know it was Miss Wyatt who used your key card? After all, if it turns out that somebody else used her card, it would mean Miss Wyatt didn't do it.
Fingerprinted.
Interesting. And are you able to prove this bluff to be true?
I assure you I'm not bluffing, Your Honor. Well, now what?
Wait a minute, Nick. I can think of a certain somebody who might have used Ellen's key card.
Unfortunately, you can?
Remember? The one who was sneaking around the hold in spite of not being a family member?
Oh, that's right. Well, Your Honor, the defense would like to call a certain witness to the stand. I need the testimony of this person who may have entered the hold with Miss White's card.
He's gonna be like, no.
Mr. Louis Jr. That's your witness.
He's like, no.
Are you saying that numbskull was on the airship? He never breathed a word about that to me.
That's right, he didn't tell him.
No, that's not surprising because Mr. Nicoti told him to keep quiet about it. But Mr. Butts himself admitted it to me. He claimed to have found a way to sneak into the Flying Chapel's hold to see Miss Wyatt.
Yep.
This photo he took and gave to me as proof. Then was it he who moved the lantern with the body inside it to the reception hall? You know as well as I that was him. Anything is possible. And this is one possibility we should definitely look into. I can't believe this. What in the world is he doing mixed up in this? Come on, Mr. Edgeworth. Remember what we've been saying since elementary school.
Oh boy.
When something smells, it's usually the butts. Exactly. God, that Larry, he'll pay for this. Well, if you want to extract your payment now. He's right up there in the gallery. Yikes! Oh, shiny, get out of here.
Bailiff, seize the witness before he makes a run for it.
No, no. Why does stuff always happen to me? Sorry, Larry, but you brought this on yourself.
Yep.
Let us break for a 15-minute recess. I ask that both sides prepare for the next witness's testimony during this time. Bap!
Fucking Larry.
Oh.
Stinking this whole goddamn case up.
I really like this DLC.
It's great.
It is. It brings back a lot of good memories.
It does.
With the OG cast.
Even fucking Larry being around to mess things up for us.
Wow. It's been a while since I've had this much fun and excitement. Face off against Mr. Edgeworth. A harrowing tightrope walk for the defense.
Ugh, I'm exhausted already. Athena? She's the one that calls him boss.
Oh, yeah. Boss! Is it? Yes, it's her. I'm here for moral support.
Athena, are you all done practicing for Trucy's magic show?
Magic? No,
Magic?
yeah. But, well, to be perfectly honest, I sort of ran away. That's because she was putting my life in danger, I tell you.
I see. I think I'll need to have a one-on-one with her. You're really athletic and fit, Athena, so Trucy probably thinks she can run you ragged.
That may be true. Which is why not even Trucy can keep up with me when I run at full speed. Oh, God.
I was gonna make that joke, but it's too late now.
Polly, Daddy. Okay, ha! Looks like you spoke too soon, Athena. Never underestimate the resourcefulness of a great magician. Huh? Magical girl Trucy Wright is on the scene. The game broke because I'm so cool.
Yep.
No! Now, Athena, it's time to practice human combustion magic.
What?
Go on, douse yourself in this gasoline. But don't worry, it's a magic trick after all, so it's perfectly safe.
Trucy, where'd you get that from?
Don't worry about it. Run away! Hey, you! You're not getting off that easily!
She just floats away. Whoa.
They get along so well, don't they?
Is that what we're calling it?
Yeah! Reminds me of the good old days. You, me, and Pearly. Oh, and Detective Gumshoe! Can't forget him. We had all kinds of fun at the crime scenes back then, remember?
Leaving me to do all the serious investigating, as I recall.
It's the first time the game's mentioned Gumshoe in forever.
I miss him so much.
Remember this detective that you really wish you could see in a 3D model? Well,
Everywhere
he's
I
not
go,
here.
I see his face.
Oh no.
Until he does the famous Gumshoe thing and he runs in at the last moment and gives us the final piece of evidence that we need. Or he's in retirement, finally getting something worth pay, maybe. I don't know.
Who knows?
Girl, be back in session, Mr. Gray.
Mr.
Mr. Rat.
What?
Right, thank you. Fuck.
Wow, that bailiff still can't talk. So Larry's the next witness, right? I can't wait to see what happens.
Sadly, I can already imagine it. It's not going to be good.
He's probably gonna, you know, just be all over the place.
Oh, yeah, he's going to cry a lot of tears. A lot of crocodile tears.
And he's gonna draw something again. Oh, he already did, didn't he?
He's going to draw a lot. And then I'll draw blood on him. Oh, God.
Court will now reconvene.
Oh, shit, Nick. Edgy. I thought you were going to hang me out to dry, aren't you? No, not the both of us. Just Mr. Wright.
Hey.
Nick, how could you? I don't really think he did it, of course, but I've got to use whatever leads I can. Excuse me. Mr. Butts, there's a possibility you moved a lantern that had the dead body in it. So if you want to clear yourself of any suspicion, all you have to do is testify. I didn't push it that far.
That far?
Now then, your testimony, please, witness. Why do we have to have him here again?
Witness testimony.
I'm wondering the same thing, Your Honor. Nick is a jerk face. Nick, you big fat stinking jerk. How can you doubt your best bud? We know each other since elementary school. Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over.
That was the testimony?
Oh boy!
Oh my god.
I expected nothing less.
He instigated that.
Well, go ahead, Mr. Wright. He's all yours.
Why me? You're the one who called him to the stand, so he's your responsibility. Thanks, old chum. Can't you offer him a little respect, even just a shred?
No! You may cross-examine the witness, Mr. Wright.
I would if there were any testimony to cross-examine.
Cross-examination.
Just like, listen. This is the one time it's like, listen. If you testify for me, I'll give you my badge for you to have my next case as your own.
Oh god.
Just once.
With his fingers crossed behind his back.
Exactly. Think you big fat stinking jerk? Hold it. I'm not fat. Come on, Larry. Can't you please give me something real to work with? Don't think I don't know about your tricks. If I say something careless, you're gonna shove some evidence at me with a loud objection and a super smug look on your face. Yeah, well, that is my job. And if I get found guilty, how are you gonna take responsibility for what you've done? Why should I take responsibility for just doing my job? You heartless jerk, don't you have any compassion for me?
No.
How can you doubt your best bud? We've known each other since elementary school. I am sorry, Mr. Butts, but if it wasn't Miss Wyatt that entered the hold with that card, then you're the most likely suspect. Nick, I used to sit down the since the old childhood friend. Oh, well, technically, yes. But it isn't personal, I assure you.
But Nick, you were just saying that you wish that he did it so we can get him in jail and far away from you for a long time.
I prefer to believe me no matter what. Can't you see my tears? Don't they mean anything to you? Nick. You don't really think you can cry your way out of this, do you? Okay, fine. In that case. Well, get this, pal. Our friendship's over. Okay, great. You're not thrown on my side anymore. But, Larry, listen to me. Just shut up. I'm not talking to you anymore.
Wow.
This is getting us nowhere. Come off it, Larry. What? If you don't quit fooling around and start testifying, Miss Y will be found guilty. For real?
If no new information comes out of this cross-examination, then yes, Mr. Butts, for real.
Not that I have a problem with that myself. Well, I was a bit of a pickle, aren't I? Larry, just tell us the truth already. Did you or didn't you go into the hold and move a lantern up to the reception hall? I never moved any bull lantern, I tell you. Bull
That
lantern?
was specific.
What? Is this something weird? You told me that you didn't attend the wedding reception.
How would you know the lantern's a bowl?
Can you believe they told me only family member was gonna attend? They wouldn't even let me into the reception hall.
Oh boy.
Yeah, so what? Then that's odd. No one in this courtroom ever mentioned the sex of the lantern that was moved. So how could you know that it was a bull lantern?
And not a cow.
You'd have to actually go to the reception to know that. Anyone can tell that with 2 peg of bulls by looking at that fine chapel pamphlet. All I can tell right now is that there's a strong scent of bull in the air in here. Please add that last statement to your testimony, Mr. Butts.
God.
Anyone can tell that with 2 peg of bulls by looking at the fine chapel pamphlet.
Incorrect.
Seriously, Larry. If you're hiding something, you better fess up now. I'm telling you, I don't know nothing. Why haven't you helped me so much?
Because you lie all the time.
Why? Because you're you, that's why. And you think Nick's being awful to me, don't you? So tell him. Tell Nick what a big me he is. I would if I thought he was being one. To be honest, I'm quite enjoying this. Now you too, why doesn't anybody ever take my side? I wish I didn't have to doubt him, but something about what he just said doesn't add up.
Did the math and it just don't add up. You finally got a decent statement out of him, huh, Nick?
Yeah, finally. Sure took a lot of work, though. I hope all this leads somewhere. Alright, so. Anyone can tell by looking at the pamphlet that there were 2 pegables, but is that correct? I don't, well, no, I went past the pamphlet
The lantern.
itself.
The lampflet.
Let's,
Lampflet sounds like a Pokemon name.
actually, this is near Pegabole and Pegacow, but, it's just, the Pegamoo, so actually, Larry, shut up.
Yep. Larry,
Fucking shut up. I want you to take a look at this, Mr. Butts. Because
Yep,
unfortunately
Pegacow,
for you, the
Pegabole.
pamphlet clearly shows a Pegacow and a Pegabole in their example diagram of the reception hall. Huh? But on that day, instead of putting a Pegacow and Pegabole out for the bride and groom, there were 2 male Pegaboles on display. Yet somehow you knew there were 2 Pegaboles in the reception hall that day. There's only one way you'd know something like that, Larry. It was you who moved the Pegabole to the reception hall, wasn't it?
Oh boy.
No. Larry, you didn't.
Mr. Butts, did you move the lantern containing the victim's body to the reception hall?
That's what it looks like.
Oh my god. What?
Oh my god, Larry. Oh, what a bunch of ball. Oh wait, Nick. You don't think I am the murderer, do you?
Maybe you and Mr. Gloomsbury were fighting over Miss Wyatt and you ended up killing him?
Maya, not you too. Look, I did sneak in the reception, but that's as far as I went. You know me, I wouldn't hurt a fly. You snuck into the reception? Yeah, sure. But some of this rocket bed car locked me up in one of the cabins. I was pretty awful, actually.
It was pretty awful.
But that's when I made that drawing of the pterodactyl I showed you, Nick.
Oh god.
Ixnay on the Aerodactyl binary. Larry, Larry, that was a lot of weird stuff.
Aerodactyl Tay.
Mr. Wright, not even you would take this farce that far, would you? About that, we are talking about Larry. What do I do?
Yeah.
Do I accuse Larry of being the true culprit?
I mean,
Let's fucking do it. You know, what could go wrong? I guess I have no choice but to accuse him. Wait a minute. But Larry didn't have any reason to kill Gloomsbury. No, you're right, Mr. Edgeworth. Mr. Butts didn't have a reason to kill Mr. Gloomsbury. He might have had an imaginary reason to kill Soren Sprocket, sure, but not Mr. Gloomsbury.
after all, he did steal Mr. Sprocket's bride and try to elope with her.
Just because I tried to steal somebody's bride doesn't make me a murderer.
You're also like 13 years
Just
older
makes
than
you a
her. It's
fucking idiot.
Yeah.
But I believe you, Larry, and I don't think you killed anybody either. I don't think you're smart enough to think that far ahead, but you would never do anything like that. You would never do anything like that. Nick, oh buddy, oh pal, I knew you'd come through for me.
Ugh,
Funny that, considering you swore testimony just now that we were, though.
we were through.
That we were through.
Mr. Butts, it's time you told this court the whole truth. Understood?
Give a proper testimony this time.
Witness
Thanks.
testimony.
Moving the lantern.
Sounded like Trucy just came out of nowhere and said
Yeah. It's just like Nick said. I'm the one who moved the lantern.
BG. GB. Alright.
Alright. I was poking around the reception hall before the main event and saw the lantern was broken. There was a note on it that said, exchange with the one in the hold. Ellen. So I decided to do Ellie a favor. Well, you just fucked us.
Oh.
So you switched the lanterns before the reception, did you? That means the victim really was killed before the reception.
Sorry about my drink, everybody.
It made lots of icy noises.
Edgeworth really liked that one, I bet.
Yeah. He's like, wow. All right, cool.
It would appear that Mr. Butts completely fell for the defendant's scheme. What scheme? This note from the defendant, exchanged with the one in the hold, Ellen. Mr. Butts moved the lantern with the body in it up to the reception hall because of this note. And thus he has become a suspect in Mr. Gloomsbury's murder. The second lantern didn't feel pretty heavy. I never would have thought there was a dead body in it. Oh, what was a note like that doing on a lantern in the first place?
You've got it all wrong, Mr. Edgeworth. I left that note for myself. It was simply a reminder because I can be very forgetful. Oh, that's a mood.
What a sorry excuse, Miss Wyatt. The prosecution contends that this note shows one facet of the defendant's murderous plan. And you, Mr. Butts, you played right into Miss Wyatt's hands. No way, I don't believe it. Do you still really believe Miss Wyatt to be the culprit, Mr. Edgeworth? Yeah. Of course, my stance on the matter remains unchanged. If you think I'm wrong, then prove with your cross-examination. Gladly.
Bring it on.
Very well, Mr. Wright, you may cross-examine the witness again.
And we're gonna cross-examine them next time.
Examination.
Larry,
Moving the
why
lantern.
do you have to make everything so bad for us?
Look at that 1,000-yard stare.
Look at everything he's got going on
I
there.
try not to.
There's just a lot to take in from
I'd
here.
rather look at Phoenix.
But it all just smells like Larry.
Why can't we just end on Phoenix? That'd be.
Fortunately, he's hiding for now.
I know.